TitleMatchNetwork.com.
The aftermath of WrestleMania.
Well, I think that gave Vince and maybe some of the non-believers the reassurances that they needed. Now let's really go get them.
Right.
Because the minute that WrestleMania 1 was over with, WrestleMania 2 was already on the books.
Right.
What's going to be bigger and better than WrestleMania 1? It was going to be Long Island at the Nassau County Coliseum, at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, and at the Sports Center in LA. We'll have 3 venues. We'll have all kinds of celebrities, and we'll have all the stars.
Whose idea was it to merge the celebrities in? Was that a Vince idea, or was it a collective?
No, I think that was a combination of people's thinking.
Right.
Because obviously these things were discussed to a point, and you would always ask Gorilla Monsoon, you would always ask Pat Patterson, how about the football players against the, our regular rostered guys in Chicago in that over-the-top rope battle with Dick Butkus as the referee.
Right.
And I got them tuned up on beer and hot dogs.
It's interesting that a Gorilla Monsoon and a Pat Patterson would be, so it lends to their vision because they are old school guys. And that idea of bringing in...
Yeah, but Pat Patterson is more than an old school guy. Pat Patterson, his mind goes so far out into the stars, you have no idea.
Right.
For a guy that could come up with all the concepts, what's the concept? We're going to call this one the Royal Rumble.
Right. Do you think he would be the MVP of the Inner Circle with McMahon? Would he trust him the most?
Without a question of a doubt.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Vince needed to have Pat Patterson. Pat now has a contract until the day that he dies. He's getting paid by the company, and he deserves it.
Right.
Because he's made the company and our friend Mr. McMahon a lot of money.
Sure.
Mr. McMahon, though, has gotten used to 15-hour, 16-hour days all over the world. So, from a little ink spot in Allentown, Pennsylvania, to now the world.
Right.
Big deal.
It sure is. I'm gonna ask you about a specific interview that I always loved when I was a kid and how it came together. You go to the gym where Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff are training.
Mid-City Gym.
The Mid-City Gym, of course.
Manhattan.
So when you're putting something like this together, that's one of the most memorable interviews in my life.
You see me get my knuckles smashed by Paul Orndorff?
Yes, with the weights, of course. And they beat up this poor bystander. When you guys are going to do that, you guys are so good, and so you must be so locked in and in tune to one another. How scripted is something like that? What goes into putting something like that together?
We knew what we had to do, but the personalities then were so heavy that, when a Roddy Piper would say something, he did it in his own inimitable style. And the same with Hogan. And Orndorff was kind of scrapping for straws.
Sure.
But he made it.
Yeah.
Jimmy Snuka I lost. God bless Jimmy Snuka. We talked about George Steele. But I lost him occasionally. And I'm glad that Jimmy Snuka didn't ever get introduced to the Ultimate Warrior. What a conversation that would have been.
That would have been interesting, to say the least.